Hey everybody, my name is Daniel, and this is why I gave Ford v Ferrari an A. Ford v Ferrari tells the story of Le Mans 66. This is a 24-hour-long car race between some of the greatest auto manufacturers in the world. From 1961 to 1965, Ferrari had been winning all of these races. But now, in 1966, the Ford Motor Company, seeing an opportunity to kind of boost their profile among the new, hip, sporty teenage generation, decides to enlist car maker Carroll Shelby, played by Damon, and veteran driver Ken Miles, played by Christian Bale, to build the greatest race car the world has ever seen and finally beat Ferrari. And if you're sitting there, you're not a gearhead, you don't change your own oil, and you see, oh, this is just going to be a dad movie, in a way it is. But the best thing about this movie is how it takes little tweaks, how it focuses a lot on these characters, and doesn't really make this a sports car racing movie. It's a movie about people that are trying to push themselves past the limit of what's possible. And when you focus on that, I think you'll really find something to enjoy about this movie. Not only that, but it's a damn well-made racing movie. These sequences are intense, and they always keep the focus on the center of the frame. Kind of a trick that Mad Max Fury Road did. So no matter how fast the action is going, and by God, there are pieces of automobile flying everywhere. You're hearing sounds of tires squelching, the gears shift. If you're watching this in a theater with great sound, it's going to be heaven. There is a noise for a gear shift that was made that like shook the seat and made me vibrate inside, and it really sucked me into this. A nomination for sound mixing for the Oscars is almost perfect. There's just so much going on, and it's all smooth, it's all fluid, it's just energetic as hell. And it also has that kind of romanticized American look. It very much is a movie about the 60s, about these bright pastel colors and the suits, and you've got those old school cars. So if you're a fan of that stuff, it works really well. But also, if you're worried that you're looking at something from the past that's a little too squeaky clean, the movie takes tweaks to turn it into a different direction. You know, this is the kind of movie where the Italians would be made to solely be the foreigner, the evil person. And it's not like that. This movie isn't about America beating Italy. This movie is about guys trying to push themselves forward. It's very much a more human story. It's a story about people trying to gain respect in competition. And I think by keeping it more humanist, that stuff really comes out well. Christian Bale is just giving an electric performance. This is the best I've seen him since American Hustle. It's even better than American Hustle. This guy, it can almost be seen as hammy, like he's chewing scenery, but he's so much fun to watch, and he's so dedicated. He's that type of guy that knows exactly when you're trying to pull his leg, and he will call you out on it and make you look stupid. And it's also fun to watch Matt Damon try to basically reel him in like a bulldog that's about to rip a baby's face off. Matt Damon is doing a lot of heavy lifting too, behind the scenes, when he's trying to deal with the sort of corporate politics of it all. Now, you might be looking at the runtime. It's 2.5 hours, and it definitely looks like movies are just trending longer nowadays. That might seem like a daunting task, but Ford v Ferrari moves at such a brisk pace. Not so much that you're gonna get lost, but moves, and there's enough going on that it doesn't feel like it's wasting your time, and a lot of that is because of the supporting cast. Katrina Balfe, Tracy Letts, Josh Lucas, John Bernthal, who's in the movie for more than 5 minutes. Anytime that John Bernthal is in a movie for more than 5 minutes, you know the movie is not just gonna be good, but great. And you see different shades of this world through these people. Now, some of these characters, like Josh Lucas, come off like the sort of stereotypical kind of cheesy archetype, but I found that he's so good at playing that it really didn't bother me. And I love that this movie is also partially about people who are trying to puff themselves up and act a lot tougher than they are, but really you can see the insecurity break down. And I love that in a movie that's so manly and macho, you really do get to peel back the layers of this kind of movie, whereas I think back in the day, you wouldn't get the more emotional moments. I've got a problem with Ford v Ferrari, and it's the same problem that I find with a lot of James Mangold's movies, where the ending or the third act doesn't really quite live up to the rest of the movie. And it still was good. This part was more of the Return to the King syndrome. So there are a couple of points in Ford v Ferrari where I feel the movie could have dropped off and really had a good, tie it with a bow and leave it as a good package. But this one was kind of muddled. So instead of leaving the movie on this high that the movie was pushing me towards, I kind of plateaued about 10 to 15 minutes from the end. It's still good. I'm still happy that I left with the feelings that I left with. I just was so ready to take this to the moon, that A+ territory. But that's a small thing to talk about with this film, because Ford v Ferrari was a blast. This was the fastest 2.5 hours I've sat through this year, and I've sat through Endgame. I love Marco Beltrami's score. It's propulsive, it's jazzy, it's full of blues and groove, and if you're in the mood to just kind of sit down with like a big old hot dog or a burger and just watch a great movie about people trying to push themselves to the absolute limit, this movie is for you. But that's going to be it for my review of Ford v Ferrari. Tell me what you thought about the movie, if you've seen it down below. If you want to keep hanging out with me, talking movies, go ahead and subscribe to the channel too. But right now it is time for you to choose your own adventure between one of these videos. On the left is my Blu-ray update and free digital code giveaway for the month of October, and on the right is my glowing review of Dr. Sleep, a severely underrated movie that needs more love. So, you've got a decision to make, choose your own adventure, and I'll see y'all next time.